Hey guys, hey, it's Kevin from the Potency Project, and today I want to talk about what I call the paradox principle. So the paradox principle is also known as the golden rule, but I call it the paradox principle because it's just a little bit easier for me to understand. Now, whenever I'm trying to understand something, it always is better for me if I use the language that makes sense for me. So I always try to change up the words or whatever it takes to just make it so I can understand it better. And that's what's going on in this case. And I do that a lot in the book, The Potency Project. I'll take other people's views or what they've learned, and I'll change up the words to make it make sense to me, because there's so many words that have the same meaning, but sometimes it changes your perspective a little bit when it's one word or another word, and they have the same meaning, but to you it's slightly different. So anyways, that's the situation here. The paradox principle, it's really cool. It came to me from sports, or that's where I learned it from. It just was like, I think it was intuitive, or maybe it came from my coaches. I'm not really sure. But I'll talk about that more here in a little bit. But the paradox principle means that everyone is equal, or the golden rule means that everyone is equal. That's what it means, like, essentially. So the golden rule is do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. And that's the same thing as the paradox principle. But the paradox principle, I say it's a little different. The paradox principle is you gotta believe that you are the best, that you are the most amazing, that you are the most unique. But at the same time, everybody else is amazing and unique. So at the same time that you're amazing and the best, everybody else is amazing and the best. Or you're unique, you're one of a kind, but at the exact same time you're insignificant and just one of many. So there's this paradox that yes, you're amazing and also everyone else is amazing. Or you're the best, but also everyone else is the best. Or you're unique, but also you're not unique because you're just one of many. So that's the paradox in it. And then how it relates to the golden rule is that's how you gotta treat yourself. You treat yourself how you treat others. So you treat yourself like you're the best, and then you treat others like they're the best. So do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. So that's why it's the same thing. And it results, again, in everybody being equal. Not the easiest thing to understand. I hope I'm explaining it okay. I explain it, I think, a little bit better in the book, so check out the Potency Project book. But, you know, I came across this concept when it came to sports, when I was playing soccer specifically, but it could have to do with any sport. It really doesn't matter. So the situation is when you're not the best player, or maybe you're not the best team, but you're gonna play the best team. So it's a big game, you're playing against way better people than you, or maybe you're up against another player that's way better than you, and you have to have this concept of the paradox principle as your self-image. I left that out a little bit. So this defines your self-image. This is the ideal self-image. So you gotta have the paradox principle as your self-image if you're gonna succeed at all. There's no way for you to succeed if you don't have this as your self-image. You know, at least for the period of time that you're gonna play. Maybe, you know, when it comes to sports, you know, you don't have to have this self-image your whole life, although that would be ideal. But at least for the game, you have to have this self-image. So this is what I did intuitively. I'm not sure how it happened, but let's say I was not the best at something. And then I was coming up against somebody who was better than me. And I knew that they were better than me just because of whatever. You know, they were just on a better team, whatever. In order for me to succeed against them, I had to believe that I was better than them. Even though rationally I was not better than them, but I had to believe I was better than them. But at the same time, I had to have respect for them and believe that they were better than me. So that's the irrational paradox of it all. I couldn't just believe I was better than them, because then that would, like, you know, that would make me be cocky, and they could probably just run over me, like, whatever, because I wouldn't have respect for what they could do, you know. But if I respected them and I believed that they were the best, but also I had confidence in myself that I was the best, that I was better, I was able to succeed against them. This I used over and over in my sports career, and everyone should use this in any sport. Any coach should be teaching this. Any teacher should be teaching this. You know, this is the ideal way that we should all really live our lives, because, you know, half the people in this world are living like they're better than everyone else, and then, like, some people are lower than them, and then the other half are believing that they're not as good as everyone and everybody else is better than them. You know what I'm saying? So the paradox principle is the middle ground. It's where we should be. But, you know, it's difficult to be there because our self-images have been damaged over the years by trauma, by all of our experiences that we just have had over the years. I could talk about that more in a different video, why you don't have the paradox principle or the golden rule as your self-image, and you have, you know, a superiority complex or an inferiority complex, why you have those and not this ideal. And it's just really, it's an amazing concept to believe that other people are perfect and you are perfect as well. You give respect immediately to people. It's not like they have to earn your respect. It's just like you respect everyone for who they are, and at the same time you have belief that you demand respect as well. So I want to talk about more about what if you don't have the golden rule or the paradox principle as your self-image. Let's say if it's in a sports environment. So you're going up against the top team, but you're, you know, the bottom team, or you are middle team or something like that. Or maybe you're just second. You know, if you believe that they are better than you, you know, and you are not good enough, then they're gonna win, you know, 10 out of 10 times. But this is the situation when underdogs in sports are able to beat the top team. So it's like the top team versus the bottom team. You know, that's the best thing about sports that we love, is sometimes the underdog wins. And why would they win? It's only because they have the paradox principle drilled into their heads that they're better, that they're gonna give their all, and they're gonna give their whole effort in confidence that they can win, that they can beat this other team, but at the same time respecting this other team, that they are actually better. So anytime the underdog loses, you know, that's just the normal situation. They believe that they are the underdog. They believe that this other team is better than them. If you go the opposite way and you think about that underdog and the top team again, so why would the top team lose? It's just the opposite. It's pretty cool. So the top team would lose is because they believe that they're better than this other team. They believe, you know, this other team is below them, and they don't have respect for them. They, you know, they believe that they're the best, but they believe that this other team is not the best. So they might not put in the best effort, and, you know, they don't respect them. So who knows, this other team could come out and shock them and do something that they didn't believe that this other team could do. So if you're a coach and you know, this is something that you should drill into your team, if you're the best team or if you're not the best team, because every game you have to go out and you have to respect your opponent. And that, you know, it's the same thing for work environments or just social environments. You have to go out and you have to respect the people around you. And you can't believe that you're better than other people. You know, and you can't believe that other people are better than you. It's just not the way to live. And I know that that's not easy. So that's why we have to talk about why you might not already have that as your self-image. And there's tons of people who do not have this as their self-image. I would say 10% of the world maybe only has this as their self-image, you know, and maybe it's only a portion of the time. There are these special people, and that's why they're special, that, you know in society that have this as their self-image. And these people will be like the most confident, the most charismatic, everyone loves them, but there's not that many people like that. So some people can put it on as a show and just turn it on from time to time. Some people live it all the time, and some people just don't know about it and they never live it. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Leave comments and questions below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.